Over 4 million people live in the Los Angeles area. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife estimates a coyote population range of 250,000 to 750,000 animals. No one knows exactly how many urban coyotes are living in the greater Los Angeles area, but we do know coyote sightings and conflicts are on the rise. Dr. Niamh Quinn has put together a team of top professionals to trap and implement a new high-tech collar that serves as a tracking device for urban coyotes.
The idea behind this project came about because here in California we have a lot of coyote conflict. Either coyotes are eating pets or even coyotes are biting people here in Southern California. We tried to think about ways that we could actually test and see if coyote hazing works. And the only way to really do that is to get GPS collars on coyotes. This collar that we chose for the project is actually a really cool piece of equipment. It has a solar panel here that will help us recharge the battery, and it also communicates to the different networks in different ways. So GSM to the cell network, GPS up to the satellite, and then some other shorter wave things like UHF and VHF as well. The other thing that this collar has, and which is an important part of this project, is it has an accelerometer. And an accelerometer actually kind of tells us kind of how fast the animal is actually going, and that's going to be important for trying to figure out if hazing works or not, because it'll be important to know if the animal, when it disappears out of sight, did it just kind of just go a little bit and then stop, or was it really afraid and it kept running and running and it was out of here to a different place at a very, you know, kind of top speed. So that's the collar in a nutshell. It's a pretty nice piece of equipment, and we're hoping it's going to work very, very well for us.
In the past, the police department called us and asking our help for remove some coyotes from here. They took about 60 pets from people's houses around this area in 3-month period. So next to the park on the other side is a park with the kids going and play and stuff like that. And there's a baseball field, and I think it's a soccer field and a basketball court. So we don't want coyotes to get used to be here and eventually attack one of the kids they play in the park or taking more pets. Yeah, the trap that we use is called the collar room. It's one of the most humane traps to catch animals, and it's designed for canines and coyotes. So we don't have a secondary animal going to the trap and get distressed overnight. The reason that we choose this trap is because it catch only the coyote. It have a stopper to prevent the coyote to be choked. So you just hold it on it. The cable that is attached to the neck is really thick, so it won't cut the skin of the animal. And if we cut a dog or another animal that is not a target, it can be easy released.
My name is Jim Hartman. I work for the Los Angeles County Agriculture Commissioner Weights and Measures Department. I'm a Deputy Agriculture Commissioner Sealer, and I head the Integrated Pest Management Division for the department. The UCANR program is another component in our outreach program. They use us, we use them. 2 years ago we put together a training for all the cities here in LA and Orange County that could attend. So we're resources for one another. Hazing has been talked about and arguably is a logical extension of a way of managing coyotes or at least managing their behavior. But there's not most of the information is all anecdotal. There's really been no definitive research done as to whether it really works or not. You know, we are much higher on the food chain than coyotes are. Coyotes realize that we're not food for coyotes. They get that. But whether or not that's long lasting, or if it's just something that, you know, the coyote isn't something that it's going to carry away with it, it's something that really is unknown. And we don't want to give people false hope or false information that isn't going to be worthwhile over the long term. As far as managing wildlife, it's always important to use the science that we have available to us. Emotion certainly is something that plays into that, and compassion is certainly something that is a natural human tendency to bring into things. However, you have to balance that with what the biology of the animal and what you're truly trying to get your end result to be. For instance, many times people who've lost pets, a lot of their concern is the fact that they've been deprived something that they care about, that it's also their property. So there's a certain amount of concern that they want a payback, if you will. And so most certainly emotion plays that.
Hi, my name is Deborah Martin, and I am the Director of Coyotes in Orange County, California on Facebook. We are an organization that is actually dedicated to educating people on coyotes in order to keep them and their pets safe. Back in 2011, I had an incident where a coyote attacked one of my cats and killed him less than 20 feet from my garage. And I was so upset over it. I needed to find answers. I needed to find out why this was happening in our city, and I needed to find out why nobody knew this was happening in our city. That's when I found Carolyn on Facebook, and we started doing our research to try to find out what was going on, because the cities weren't educating people. They were not giving them information. They were not telling them that there were coyotes in the city. We had no idea. And it wasn't until we both had traumatic experiences with our pets that we learned that there were actually coyotes wandering our streets at night. And we had no idea this was going on. It was a big wake-up call for us. Okay, the pros and cons of sharing coyote information on social media is a lot of the information is reported on social media, but not to city officials. City officials need this information. They need to know where their coyote hotspots are. They need to know where their problem areas are, and they need to be able to address those with the coyote management plans that they've adopted. Another thing with social media is we have no way of verifying the information as to whether it is correct or not. And a lot of the information that's shared on social media is lost forever. It's not ever shared with the police departments. They will not accept that information. So that information is lost forever. Okay, we are now in Newport Beach, and this is the back bay. Behind me is the East Bluff neighborhood. As you can see, there's cliffs all along the edge here, which is actually an ideal area for dens. Coyotes like to go to high places, as well as on the other side of the bay here. Although we love having our nature preserves, when you have a nature preserve that backs up right to homes, that's when we see coyote conflicts. Coyotes move into the neighborhoods and they become dangerous to our pets and to our families. It is emotionally driven because you have a gamut of emotions when it comes to coyotes as far as public opinion is concerned. You have those on the far right that feel that coyotes should be removed, all coyotes should be removed, and then you have those on the far left that say hands off, that we shouldn't touch the coyotes, and everyone else, most of us, are somewhere in the middle there. All right, I am absolutely thrilled that we have the coyote catcher because it's something that's available to all the cities. It's a tool that they can utilize in managing their coyote program. It's a great advantage because it does provide us insight as to where the coyotes are. We can identify the hot spots. We know where the problem areas are. And based on that information, things can be done.
We're here at Kubota Growers. They're a local nursery. They're in an Edison easement or Edison right of way where they see coyotes here all the time, and they live with the coyotes. They don't cause their plants any harm. They probably provide some pest control, not a whole lot, but they probably eat some of the rabbits, some of the gophers and things that live here. So we're working together with them to try and see if we can collar some of the coyotes that visit the nursery, because this area, like I said, it's probably a super highway for coyotes. There's no cars here, there's not that many people, and sometimes these easements, they go for miles.
So we're seeing coyotes here in California. Their diet's quite a bit different than what we're seeing outside California. These coyotes are really making use of the food sources that are highly associated with human activity. So things like trash, cultivated fruit, pets, small dogs, cats, pet food, and things like that. Typically what coyote would see when we look at diet studies outside of California, a lot more of their native prey items, so native rodents, things like deer mice and pocket gophers, as well as rabbits. So unfortunately, a lot of the time we unintentionally place out these items for coyotes. Again, leaving your small pets outside, pet food, as well as not picking up after like bird feeders or fallen fruit. These all act as attractants for coyotes, drawing them further into these highly urbanized settings. You have these coyotes becoming habituated. California, it's very common for nonprofit organizations, some government agencies as well, to participate in what's known as trap, neuter, and release programs. And so these are designed to basically take free-roaming cats off the streets, spay and neuter them, and then release them back out. A lot of time there's these feeding stations that are associated with these high density of cats, so regular source of food and water is provided. And what we're seeing in coyotes here in Southern California is that cats are making up quite a large portion of the diet, especially when we look at elsewhere.
Okay, so coyotes are really good urban adapters, and this is one of the places where they've actually started to build their dens, which is this kind of drainage tube right here. And there's an exit right out to the other side, so they can, you know, travel a bit of distance, but it's also quite long. So, you know, any kind of danger would have to travel quite a long way to get in there.
The city of Torrance first became aware of coyotes in the city in 2016. That led us to research coyotes in an urban environment, and we found that we were not the only city dealing with coyotes. We then looked for the experts in the field, which led us to Dr. Quinn. Back in 2016, when we were made aware of all the coyote-related incidents, the police department was tasked with overseeing and developing a coyote management plan. This also included educating the public on urban coyote behavior. One of the problems the police department faced was in the police academy, none of us were ever trained in coyote management or wildlife management. So this has been all very new and very challenging for us. Well, it's really important for us to participate in the collaring program. What we hope to obtain from this is to get a better understanding of what the coyotes are doing, educate ourselves, improve our management plan, and then share that information with the general public. So information obtained from the collaring program could be shared with the public in several different venues. We do neighborhood watch meetings, we do National Night Out coming out on August 6th, and we try to have a representative at each one of these meetings that has information on the coyotes. So the information obtained can be shared with them in that venue. We also put it in our coyote management plan and on our website at the City of Torrance.
Well, our main concern is with the community because there's a lot of misinformation. Some members of this community think that the coyotes are harmless, and many others have seen them kill their pets and stalk them while on walks. So this misinformation is creating a lot of conflict. It's making people nervous, insecure, and unfortunately our city doesn't have a straight answer for us as to how we should deal with the problem. My main concern is when I see those tiny TK kids walking. I know they go for playground time and they're outside. People are watching them, but I mean, not long ago we had an incident in Placentia in Orange County, not about 7 miles from here, where a little girl got dragged in a park. And we don't want to be in the news in this community. We want to stay safe. This is Rocking Horse and Shadow Oak, and they've been at least 4 documented coyote kills here of pets. Next street we have more, but at least 4 have been here. And as you can see, the school is right in the front. A lot of the houses here in Walnut, their backyards are like this. You see how it's like a little bit of a hill or a down slope. This is very, very common. And you see a lot of the coyotes go and hide in those bushes, and they make their dens around those areas. I have a picture that was shared next door of a coyote crossing exactly where we're standing. The picture shows a school sign and the coyote just crossing. Well, this is the walk where the coyotes walk. Last Monday I had 3 that have jumped and they were sniffing around, and it made me wonder if I would have been outside, even with my baseball bat or my golf club in one hand and a short leash in the other hand with my little dog, how could I protect myself from 3? How could I have defended my little dog and myself from 3? It's just, I don't think it's humanly possible. I really went back to that day where my cat got taken from the same backyard. How much can I do when there's 3? I don't know. I don't know.
We started off in July trying to trap coyotes, and we failed a lot. We were in multiple sites in multiple cities trying to catch coyotes, and in certain sites we would have evidence that coyotes were present, and in certain sites we would have put game cameras to show us that there was, or confirm that there was coyotes present, and we just never caught anything. Sometimes we would come frustratingly close where a coyote would creep up to the trap, kind of see the trap, kind of engage with the trap a little bit, and then just nothing. And like all the while I'm waiting at the other end of a phone, waiting for, like, looking at these cell phone images so I can see the coyote interacting with the trap, but it just never engaged the trap, never caught it, never went off, the trap never went off. Our first capture actually happened in October, and so we had some time in between. We weren't out in the field all the time because coyotes aren't 100% of my job, so I can't actually be in the field all the time. Sometimes I travel, sometimes I have other events, and I need to be available to be in the field at nighttime and then be a functioning adult in the daytime. And so it can be a frustrating mix of like trying to get all the team together. You know, our veterinarian has to be available, our trappers have to be available, and I have to be available. I still remember the day we went to the trapping site and Fernando was like, I like this site. We're definitely gonna catch something here. I was kind of like teetering on, oh, I'm so excited, but oh, we're not going to catch anything because we've been so unlucky so far. And then I check the traps, and I check them constantly. I mean, I'm either awake constantly or I'm listening for the buzz of my phone to tell me that there's something there. And I was like, oh my God, we got one. And I actually took a screenshot of it and I sent it to Fernando. He called back straight away and he's like, are you sure? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And like waited again because there was a slight delay, and it actually been very windy that week. and I put a slight delay in between how the camera takes the shots. Not very long, but that night 5 minutes felt like 5 hours waiting for that next picture to come in. And there it was, there we could see the cable, and it was just like go, 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 go. Managed so far to collect a ton of information about the coyotes that we have collared. So we have 5 collared so far, 3 males and 2 females, and they act slightly differently. And so the first male that we caught, so that's the first coyote we caught way back in October, we kind of started to call him lazy legs because he really has a very, very small home range for coyotes. And so the area that he occupies is tiny. It's probably about, you know, a half a mile by about half a mile. Not much bigger than, you know, that area. Really, really small. And when you look at these maps, you can see that lazy legs, he kind of occupies some natural habitat, but also is in the neighborhood a lot. And his home range over the different months, if you look through the maps, really hasn't changed that much. He kind of stays in the same area over the months, even up to May, when, you know, everybody, March, April, May, everybody was in lockdown in 2020, and lazy legs really didn't change his kind of space use that much. Our female that we trapped, you can see that her home range is massive in compared to lazy legs. This is the second coyote we ever trapped, the first female, and you can see that she ranges all across the hillsides, you know, probably ranging, you know, probably up to 7 to 10 miles from east to west. And you can see that she hangs out a lot in the natural areas, but also dips in and out of the neighborhoods. And there's quite a lot of space for her to hang out in. So she's probably choosing to go into the neighborhoods to find, you know, maybe some trash or maybe cats, or maybe even some rats, because we know they eat rats, we know they eat a lot of cats, and they eat a lot of bunnies. And if you look at the data across the months, you can see that her home range is kind of all over the place. She's very wide ranging at the start, all over those hillsides, and then all of a sudden in April and May, her home range really shrinks and changes a little bit, and she starts to use different parts of the area, and she's using more neighborhood than she ever did, which is interesting. And her home range is also a lot smaller than it ever was as well. And we don't know if this is because it could be because of lockdown. This female could be reducing her home range, because it's, you know, locked down and there's, you know, it's more opportunity to explore a smaller space. There could be more food available in urban areas now, with a lot of us spending our time at home. Or it could be for biological reasons. This coyote may have pups. She is a female. We're not sure if she has pups or not because we've been on lockdown, but she could have pups and could be, you know, in this small area because she's given birth to a litter of pups, and her home range would certainly shrink a lot then. But we don't know a lot about her yet because we have been on lockdown. So I'm really looking forward to getting out and seeing if she has some pups. That'll be really exciting. I'm so lucky we found the team we have. You know, we have cooperators from across Southern California, and I'm not sure how we found them, but I'm so glad we did. Everybody just fits in perfectly and plays a really important role, from the you know, from the university itself to the County of Los Angeles, the Ag Commissioner's Department, to our veterinarian with Western University, and to people from UC Davis and people from the University of Wisconsin, all the people that have helped us really form our ideas, and then the team, the physical team that have helped us implement our plan. We wouldn't be able to do it without a team, and having a team of collaborators is so important for scientific research because we need different ideas to come from different people to make sure that this is the most cohesive study that it can be. And working with UCANR and working with all these other partners has just been a privilege, and it's helped us really move this project along to be the best that it can be.